people always ask me if I'm afraid of bombing when I do stand-up comedy, like, aren't I afraid of failure? And I always feel like I have to remind them that I teach introductory microeconomics at 8 o'clock in the morning. Shortly before the election, I did a gig in Wichita, and I had a woman who joined me at the dinner table there, and the first thing basically out of her mouth after I sat down was she said that if Obama was elected president, she was afraid that in 5 years she would be wearing a burqa. So after the election, I sent her a catalog. And I sent her a note, and the note said, I'm not trying to rub it in, but the economy needs you to buy a burqa now. Jay Leno says that anybody can become a professional comedian if they give it 7 years. I'm on year number 4. That means that I'm ABD. So if graduate school is any guide, that means that I get to spend the next 3 years sucking up to older comedians who aren't as funny as I am. After those last couple of jokes, this would be an opportune time to thank the folks at the American Economic Association for sponsoring this. Some of us have actually tried to get a humor session going at the AEA for a couple of years now, and the sessions kept getting rejected. And finally, I got so upset that I started writing a rap song about getting dissed by the AEA. Fortunately, the session was accepted this year before I got much farther than the chorus, which included the refrain, "Thanks, but no thank you. We'd rather listen to M. Gregory Mankiw." I don't bomb very often. I did have the pleasure of bombing a few weeks ago. It was for a show for some bankers. And I really didn't do very well at this particular show, and I did so poorly, in fact, that I spent a fair amount of time kind of soul-searching afterwards, trying to figure out what had gone wrong in my act. And I eventually decided that the problem was in my opening line, which was, "Hey, how's it going?" Let me say a little bit about the financial crisis. You know, because I'm an economist, many of you have this experience, I'm sure. People keep asking you to comment on the financial crisis. This is hard for me because I'm an environmental economist. Asking me about macroeconomics is like asking someone who works at a bank how to make money. That last punchline actually tells the history of the financial crisis. When I came up with that joke about 12 months ago, the joke went like this: asking me about macroeconomics is like asking someone who works at a Wall Street investment bank how to make money in the long run. And about 6 months ago, I realized that I could shorten it. And it just became, asking me about macroeconomics is like asking someone who works at a Wall Street investment bank how to make money. And then it became like asking someone at a bank how to make money. And my real concern is that in 3 months it's just going to be, it's like asking someone how to make money. I mean, if I had to pick an animal to describe the US economy right now, I'd have to go with the hamster. But like a really tired hamster that's been running around its cage for like 7 years. Right now it's exhausted. As a microeconomist, I would say that the hamster needs some rest. Macroeconomists, of course, look at the hamster and think that it needs some methamphetamines. Now, I'm sure that they're right. Over the past month, I've learned that the 3 most terrifying words in the English language are macroeconomists agree that. I'm sure they're right about the hamster needing methamphetamines, but all I'm saying is that in 2 years, that is going to be one ugly hamster. One of the challenges of being an economics comedian is that it's very difficult to find places to practice. Some of these new jokes that I'm telling you tonight, for instance, I've only done once before, and that was 2 hours ago on an interview with the PBS NewsHour with Jim Lehrer. It's like, they interviewed Ken Arrow, they interviewed Joe Stiglitz, and they interviewed me. I feel like kind of a self-aware version of Sarah Palin.